The East African Law Society, ILS, a regional law forum, has condemned the human rights violation being committed against lawyers, journalists, political activists, and the public in Uganda ahead of the country's January 14 polls.
A round of applause.
In a statement issued on Thursday and signed off by the Law Society presidents from Uganda, Rwanda, Tanzania, Burundi, Zanzibar and Kenya, the East Africa Law Society threatened court action should Ugandan officials, include the President, Attorney General, military and police leadership, fail to forestall further human rights violations. And Uganda is currently experiencing one of the most violent electoral seasons in decades, characterized by mass arrests, deaths and disfranchisement of opposition candidates. In November, 54 people were killed by security forces after sporadic protests broke out in Kampala and other urban areas following the arrest of presidential candidate Robert Kyagulanyi, also known as Bobi Wine, for flouting electoral guidelines instituted to curb the spread of the coronavirus. Over 800 people have so far been arrested following the protests. While on the campaign trail, opposition presidential candidates have often been blocked from gaining access to rally venues, radio and television stations. They have also had their supporters beaten, tear-gassed and some run over by security vehicles.
Several cases, not only about Arua, but on Sunday I was in Namayingo, and the brutality meted against civilians in the fishing industry across the border has gone on unabated. Reports have been sent to the UPDF command. Nothing has happened. So now I want to know how we can initiate proceedings.
But the procedure is there, and seriously, we are equally affected by the reaction of some of our soldiers. What I want to say is that these are not institutional reactions. They are individuals that warrant punishment.
We note, of course, that the European Union is of the view that these charges are trumped. We cannot necessarily jump to that conclusion. The Law Society would be interested to ensure that justice takes its course, but very promptly, so that everyone gets to know of the causes of the fracas in Arua.
The UPDF just keeps telling us we are carrying out investigations. Why didn't you use the same quickness that you use it to arrest those people who allegedly stoned the president's vehicle? The same to those people who allegedly tortured the journalists and other Ugandans. Because it creates a mind of perception.
So this incident that happened has really put us in bad light. And we are not happy about it. That's why the investigations have been instituted, and we are waiting for it to get the suspects and arraign them before court. And it will be open court. All of us will be invited to attend.
On December 27th, Francis Senteza, a private bodyguard to Kyagulanyi, was allegedly knocked down and run over by a military vehicle, but the army said without evidence that he fell off a moving car. During these campaigns, Kyagulanyi had his car shot at twice, first in Jinja in November, breaking its windshield and missing the co-driver by a whisker, and in Kyotera on December 27th, as security forces tried to divert him to another route. Forum for Democratic Change presidential candidate Patrick Amuriat Oboy was on Monday, December 28th, rushed to hospital after being pepper-sprayed in Mbale by police as he tried to get to the city centre. In the week leading to Christmas, the Electoral Commission suspended campaigns in 16 districts which it deemed to be at high risk of COVID-19 transmission, but some opposition politicians have vowed to campaign there. The government has also been targeting civil society and journalists, with several non-governmental organizations working in the governance and democracy sector having their bank accounts frozen and some of their foreign staff deported. On Wednesday, prominent human rights lawyer Nicholas Opio, who runs rights organization Chapter 4 Uganda and whose arrest and subsequent charges of money laundering created international calls for his release, was released on bail after 9 days of detention. Ashraf Kasiria, a journalist with Ghetto TV and Radio 1, is still fighting for his life in hospital after police shot him on the head with a rubber bullet. Ali Mivuli of NTV was injured on the thigh, while Daniel Lutaya is currently working on crutches after being hit by a tear gas canister while covering Kyagulanyi's campaign. Several arrests of opposition coordinators and activists have been reported across the country, with families and friends unable to trace them. By Thursday, about 80 members of Kyagulanyi's campaign team, comprising of technicians, sound engineers, security detail, photographers and medical personnel, were still in custody after police and the military arrested them for the central Uganda archipelago of Kalangala. The regional bar said that it had set up an ad hoc rule of law committee comprising of experienced lawyers from across the region for purposes of collecting and preserving relevant evidence and to prepare watertight cases against the violators. The East Africa Law Society said that the government should own up to the increasing reports on the deteriorating human rights, reduction of civic space, and the rule of law, which are its obligation under the Constitution as well as under the treaty establishing the East African Community.